A dream turned nightmare. The Emily Sanders story. A journey that ended in tragedy. Emily Sanders, just 22 years old, with dreams as vast as the sky and a heart forever yearning for freedom. She was the kind of person who could light up an entire room with nothing more than her smile. Friends remembered her laugh, warm, genuine, impossible to ignore. Her family described her as the soul of the house, the one who carried light even on the darkest days. Emily's greatest passion was to see the world. She dreamed of wide-open roads, quiet lakes, and sunsets that seemed to last forever. And she didn't just want to see these things, she wanted to share them. Through her camera, through her words, she turned fleeting moments into lasting stories. On social media, her following grew quickly. People were drawn to the way she captured life, simple but beautiful. Short clips of laughter with friends, peaceful mornings with a cup of coffee by the window, roadside stops where she would dance in the wind. Her account became more than a profile. It became a diary, a living collection of dreams in motion. By her side was her fiancé, Daniel Miller. To Emily, he was not just a partner in life, but the one who would share every mile of the road ahead. Together, they decided to embark on the adventure she had always imagined, a road trip across America in their camper van. From the outside, it was perfect. Two young lovers chasing freedom. A white van rolling through endless highways. Photos of campfires, videos of laughter, promises of a lifetime of adventure. The perfect couple, the perfect journey, and a future full of dreams. But appearances don't always reflect reality, because behind the smiles and the photographs, a different story was beginning to unfold. A story that would soon turn a dream into a nightmare. And that nightmare would touch not only the heart of one family, but the hearts of millions around the world. Emily Sanders was born on a cool spring morning in 1999 in one of America's quiet, unassuming small towns. It was the kind of place where the streets fell silent after sunset, where neighbors knew each other by name, and where the air carried the smell of pine and freshly cut grass. For her family, Emily was special from the very beginning. Her mother, recalling the day she was born, would often say with teary eyes, "From the moment Emily entered the room, she brought a light with her. Everything felt different, brighter, alive." Her childhood unfolded in the gentle embrace of that little town. In the evenings, she would ride her bike under the soft glow of street lamps, her laughter echoing with the voices of friends. On long summer afternoons, she disappeared into the woods, inventing games among the trees, weaving her own fairy tales under the endless sky. She would often lie on the grass, eyes fixed on the stars, whispering dreams that only she could hear. Her father loved to tell stories about her boundless curiosity. She wanted to ask everything, to know everything. Her questions never ended. But they weren't just childish questions. Behind them, there was always a spark, a true hunger to understand the world. Even as a little girl, Emily carried her dreams in her hands. She drew endlessly in her notebooks, little sketches of camper vans, winding roads, mountains in the distance. Some pages were filled with doodles of tiny houses on wheels. She would point at them and say, "One day, I'll have one of these, and I'll go everywhere." Her friends remembered her as someone who lit up every space she entered. "Emily just had this energy," one friend recalled. "She'd walk in and suddenly the room felt warmer. She laughed easily, hugged tightly, and made you believe the world wasn't such a bad place." What set her apart was not just her warmth, but her resilience. Small problems never discouraged her. If something went wrong, Emily would smile and say, "Okay, but what can we learn from this?" To her, every difficulty was a stepping stone, not a wall. Her family cherished this spirit. Her mother encouraged her passion for art, filling the house with paints, brushes, and blank notebooks. Her father admired her free soul, often saying, "Emily has wings, and one day she's going to fly far." For her siblings, Emily was more than a sister. She was a role model, a confidant, and a protector. As she grew into her teenage years, Emily discovered social media, and suddenly her private dreams had a public stage. What once filled her notebooks now came alive in short videos and photographs. Sunsets she captured on her phone. Mornings with a cup of coffee by the window, clips of her hiking through trails, the wind in her hair, the joy in her voice. Her following grew quickly. People were drawn not just to what she saw, but to how she saw it. Through Emily's lens, ordinary moments looked extraordinary. And as her audience grew, so did her courage. Her biggest dream had taken shape: to set out on the road in her very own camper van, to explore America's hidden corners, and to share these journeys in a way that felt like a living documentary. One day, she confided in a close friend, "One day, I'll tell my own road story, and people will see the world through my eyes." At the very heart of her dream was freedom. Freedom to go anywhere, to live fully, to inspire others. And just as that dream began to feel within reach, Daniel Miller walked into her life. At first, it felt like fate. Two young people, two free spirits, two souls who loved the open road. Emily believed she had finally found the partner who would share her dreams. But the story fate had written for her was leading to a very different ending. One of Emily's closest friends once shared a memory from their high school years. It was late in the afternoon. The sun was sinking low, and the whole sky turned shades of pink and orange. Suddenly, Emily came running toward me, holding her old film camera. "Come on," she said, her eyes shining. "Let's capture this moment forever." We had no plans that day, just another ordinary evening. But with Emily, ordinary never stayed ordinary. Before I knew it, we were out of town, climbing up the hilltop we used to visit as kids. The wind was strong at the top, pulling at our hair and clothes. We laughed so hard trying to keep our balance, snapping picture after picture with that little camera. Emily would throw her head back and laugh, the sound carrying through the open air like music. The wind was strong at the top, pulling at our hair and clothes. We laughed so hard trying to keep our balance, snapping picture after picture with that little camera. Emily would throw her head back and laugh, the sound carrying through the open air like music. Emily's dream of traveling began when she was just a child. Her father often recalled one birthday morning when Emily had just turned 8. He had bought her a small gift, a tiny red toy camper van. Her eyes lit up the moment she saw it, he remembered. She picked it up carefully, as if it was something fragile and precious. Then she set it on the floor and began to push it around the room, pretending it was real. She laughed. She made little engine noises, and then she looked up at me and said, "One day, I'm going to ride in a real one of these, Dad." At the time, he had simply smiled, charmed by her excitement. "I thought it was just a child's game," he admitted, but years later, I realized just how serious she had been. That little toy was more than a toy for her. It was a promise she had made to herself. For Emily, the tiny red camper van became a symbol of her future. Every time she looked at it on her shelf, her eyes would brighten with possibility. It wasn't plastic wheels or painted windows that mattered. It was what it represented: freedom, adventure, the hope of discovering a world beyond the small town she had grown up in. That little van carried her dreams. It reminded her that someday, somehow, she would find her way onto the open road, and in her heart, she never let go of that promise. On a warm summer morning in 2021, Emily and Daniel left their small hometown behind. Their greatest dream was to explore every corner of America. With them, they carried only a few suitcases, a camera, their notebooks, and their small white camper van, freshly painted with their own hands. Just before they set out, Emily turned on her phone camera. She smiled brightly and said, "Dreams do come true. Today is the first day of our journey. Who knows what lies ahead of us?" The short clip spread quickly across social media, watched by thousands. Excited comments poured in. "You two look amazing. This journey will be like a fairy tale. Take us with you." And indeed, the first weeks did feel like magic. In Emily's videos, the couple could be seen sipping coffee at sunrise. The sky burned orange behind them. Emily's smile lit up the frame, and Daniel's arm rested around her shoulders. In another video, they sat in front of their camper van, strumming a guitar together, their voices blending with the crackling of the campfire. Emily's laughter filled the night, brighter than the flames. Photos showed them walking hand in hand along mountain roads or sitting together on the edge of a quiet lake. Every picture strengthened the image of the perfect couple on the perfect journey. But the camera didn't always tell the whole truth. In some clips, Daniel's smile was there, but only on the surface. His eyes carried impatience, even unease, and in Emily's gaze, if you looked closely enough, there were fleeting shadows of worry, small signs, unnoticed at the time, but the first cracks of what was to come. A friend later reflected, "When I watched their videos, it really looked like they were living their dream. But there was something in Emily's smile, something missing. It was as if behind that smile, she was hiding a shadow only she could see." Throughout their trip, the couple visited national parks, small towns, endless prairies, and quiet villages. Emily's camera captured it all: every sunrise, every stop, every detail. Each day, new content reached her followers, and the world watched their adventure as if it were a real documentary. But what no one knew then was that this journey would not end in happiness. It would end in a tragedy from which there was no return. Tomorrow, behind the smiles, shadows were growing. Tomorrow, the truth begins to surface. From the first warning signs to a tragedy the world will never forget, and the ending no one was prepared for, to be continued. Every secret waits to be revealed. Every silence carries an echo. Every story is waiting to be told. This was her secret. What about yours? Subscribe and step into the echoes of truth.